everyone, and welcome back to the Coach Dave Gran Turismo channel. I'm Martin Grady, otherwise known as Tishney, and what we're going to do is look at this week's Gran Turismo daily races. So we're going to go through it in detail, very slowed down lap, pick out the braking markers, some accelerating markers in there as well. We're going to a fast lap, and then of course we're going to use Delta, which is a fantastic app here with Coach Dave. I love using it. You can see all the strengths and weaknesses of your lap, and that should be where you can get those all-important tenths of a second to get you up that leaderboard and hopefully help you start on pole position. Let's go to Daily Race A then. So for Daily Race A, we're at Daytona Road Course, and this is my favorite daily race of this week. So Daytona Road Course, Mazda Roadster 12R, so an absolutely rocket ship of a Mazda Roadster, and yeah, this is good fun. Let's jump straight into the lap, and let me tell you how to do it, because currently, I'm rank 1 in the world. So here we are on the start-finish straight, well, more of a curve than a straight, and we already get to the turn 1 markers right here. So we've got the flag indicator there at the top right. That isn't our brake marker. What is our brake marker is that white line in the middle. I highlight the flag indicator because that tells you which white line to follow. So you see that white line right there? That is when you're going to hit the brakes. But what I want you to do here at Daytona, because it's a turn and you want to brake in a straight line, I want you to turn towards the corner and then brake in a straight line, heading towards the outside of the corner. What this does, it means you can brake at 100% efficiency. It also reduces the angle of the corner of the one you really want. So notice here, I'm braking in a straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line. A little bit of turn, but mainly straight line. We start to release the brakes, then the car wants to turn. So that's why I do. I let it turn. I stay in third gear there. The reason I stay in third gear, it keeps the car stable. And it is critical for this lap, you keep the car stable. You do not want oversteer. The second you get oversteer is the second you lose some time. So we're accelerating through here. This is all flat out, of course. And what we're going to do is head over towards the left-hand side of the circuit here at Daytona. What we're looking for, though, is on the right-hand side. So we've passed all the boards, okay? And we're looking for this moment right here, this point of the circuit. So we've got the first cone, and then we've also got the curb for the shorter circuit. Now, we don't have access to that in Gran Turismo. However, it's a really good marker. So it's literally about to hit the edge of my screen. You can see I've just hit the brakes right now. If you want to make it so it does hit the edge of your screen, that's absolutely fine. There is no issue with you going a bit deeper here to get the car rotated and to accelerate out the corner. You can take a tight line here or do that deeper line that I talked about. Now, you're going to drop down to second gear for this corner, okay? What I want you to do then is going to go hard on the brakes as I'm doing right now. Watch what I do. I'm still hard on the brakes. I then start to release the brakes. The car's going to rotate, and then I'm instantly going to go on throttle. That generates a little bit of oversteer, like I said. Notice there how I lift off the throttle and then go back on. So I'm just getting the car rotated. I lift off the throttle then to stop that rotation. The car grips, and then I go full throttle out the corner. That's critical. You want to get out of this corner as quick as you can with the least amount of sliding as possible. And you saw what I did right there. That's the critical part of this. That's why it's actually, or can be, better to go a bit deeper to get the car rotated to then just point out and go. And I saw that a few times with some of the laps I was doing. You can see my laps on the right-hand side. We accelerate through here. This is the kink. No worries here about being flat out. And we're going to get to the next braking markers right now. So we've got 2 right here, okay? I've already hidden my face, so happy days. You've got a better view here as well. So we've got a dark patch of tarmac there on the left-hand side. And then we've got as the curb rejoins the circuit up ahead. Now, what I want you to do here is I want you to brake in between both of these markers, like bang on in the middle of these two. So if you brake too early, you know where the dark patch is, you know to brake a bit later. Don't brake too late at the curb. You don't want that. But what I do want you to do is not turn in too early for this corner, for the same reason we've done on all the other corners, where we're actually trying to reduce oversteer on the exit, and we actually want to carry a bit of speed. So notice here, we stay to the left. We're now heading towards the middle of the circuit. We're in third gear. We dropped to second. You don't have to do that, but we're going to short shift to third gear because that's where we should be. Notice I'm instantly on throttle. I come to about 90%, and then I go back on 100% throttle there. The reason for that is to reduce understeer, and I'm already trying to straighten the steering out. You can see that right there, and that's to stop oversteer, because as that power gets into that power band, as the engine gets there, what's going to happen is the wheels are going to start to spin up. So I'm trying to reduce that steering before I get to that moment. So we get to arguably the most important corner on this circuit, or second most important, should we say. So we've got the circuit going off to the right-hand side there. You can use that as a brake marker here, that white line there that I've highlighted. Alternatively, right above my head, we have the white on the Armco there. That's what I use here. So once that hits the edge of my screen on the left-hand side, that's when I'm going to hit the brake pedal. Now, critically, I stayed in third gear all the way up to this point, and I actually hit the rev limiter. do that. Don't go up to 4th gear. I found staying in 3rd gear was better because what happened is it settled the car and allowed me to rotate the car that little bit more because I wasn't carrying as much speed. So as I was hard on the brakes, I then release the brakes. The car rotates nicely. I try and stay above 50 miles an hour. I do that. I'm instantly on the throttle now. The car is settled without that gear change that you potentially have to do 4th to 3rd because I stayed in 3rd. And then I can accelerate out the corner and now I'm on the banking. Now the reason that corner is so important is because it's all about carrying the speed onto this banking. The more speed you carry onto it, the more speed you're going to have by the bus stop chicane, which obviously means more lap time. Now, that's why you don't want to go up to 4th gear before it, because arguably you're causing yourself more issues. You're guaranteed a maximum speed coming towards the corner, so your braking marker should be more consistent. And consistency is key when you're lapping every single time. So we're about to hit our next brake marker here, which is the flag indicator in between the 2 board and the 1 board. And I've highlighted it right there. Now, arguably, you want to brake just after this. Now, you can brake on it and be absolutely fine, but obviously you're going to go a bit slower, which is fine. You can stabilize the car. If you try and brake at the 1 board, yes, you can make it, but your car's going to be all over the place. So it's better to use the flag indicator marker that I've highlighted here, and you're about to see me go on the brakes. Now, I brake early, as I said, because I want to stabilize the car. I want to carry the most speed through this corner, because arguably, this is the most important corner. It's either the last one or this one. So I'm hard on the brakes. I'm in 4th gear. I start to release the brakes. Now I let the car turn. I use all the curb on this left. And then instantly going to start turning to the right. But notice that I'm just on throttle a little bit. That's just to try and maintain balance and speed. And I continue on through here. Don't cut too much. If you go too much over the yellow curb, you're going to invalidate your lap. So make sure you're not cutting it too much there. As you see, I make it through fine. And now we've got the run to the line. So this is why I say this corner probably is the most important corner. It's an argument between the previous corner and that bus stop chicane, but they both are all about carrying speed. Now, the bus stop chicane impacts your next lap as well. Only just so, because you are going to hit the limiter at some point, or very close to it. Remember that wall of air there is very hard to get through in this Mazda at this moment in time. But you stay in 5th gear as you start the lap as well, and this is a 210.8. Let's go into a fast lap then. Remember, we're looking for the white line here as we head towards turn 1. Straight line, you're braking all the way to the outside, drop to 3rd gear, release the brakes, turn in. Just be careful about the pit wall on the inside. I was very close to that. Stay in 3rd gear on the exit. Make sure you straighten up as quick as you can, avoiding any oversteers. Through this little section we go, over towards the left-hand side. Remember, the short circuit goes off to the right. We're going to brake just before that hits the edge of the screen. We're going to drop down to 2nd gear. We release the brakes. We're going to accelerate a little bit, get a bit of oversteer, then come off, and then go back on. That makes sure the car remains stable. We use all the track on the exit there. You can use all of that. That's absolutely fine as we continue on out of there. So we're going to head up towards the kink. This is flat out nice and easy in this Mazda Roadster as we go through this kink. And remember, we're looking for the dark patch and the track coming back here onto the circuit, and we brake in the middle of those. We're drop to 2nd gear, you don't have to do that. 3rd gear is critical for me here on the exit just to reduce any oversteer, and you can see that there. Yes, we're not in the power band, it's fine. Stay in 3rd gear now. Listen to this, we're going to hit the rev limiter. I'd say we hit the rev limiter, and yes, we didn't increase our speed by that much, but we're stable for this corner. One of the most critical corners on the circuit. 3rd gear, happy days. Remember the brake marker for that corner, the Armco, where it starts going white on the left-hand side. We continue now towards bus stop chicane. Remember the flag indicator in between the 2 and the 1. There it is. We're going to hit the brakes. Drop to 4th gear. Start to release the brakes now. Stabilize the car. Accelerate a little bit. Now just slowly dab the throttle, and then full throttle when you know the car is stable. You should make it through absolutely fine. We can accelerate towards the line now, and that's at 210.8. What we're going to do is jump to Delta and see if we can improve that a little bit more by analysing other people's laps. So I have loaded Sutsu's lap, who's currently rank 2, and also a pro driver here at Coach Dave Academy. And what we're going to do is compare these laps very much in detail. We're looking for places where I lose time, and arguably places where I gain time, I'm actually being very strong at. So let's go straight into this lap then. We're not going to microanalyze per se, but we are going to look at it in detail to find out. So we head towards turn 1 here, and Sutsu's on the brakes just that little bit earlier than me. Look at that, I'm still 100% throttle. Sutsu's on the brakes. So as we go into here, we go through this corner, and let's have a look at this as we go through the start of the lap there. So I'm already up by a little bit there. So I'm already carrying more speed here. Maybe it's Sutsu's first lap, and there's a little bit of speed difference there. So Sutsu arguably does that corner a little bit better than me. Look at the speed carried there. So I need to work on turn 1 that little bit more to get a little bit more time. So 0.7 is available to me. So we're going to go into the right-hander here as we leave this corner. We gain a tiny bit there. So we've done that corner a little bit better. We go through the kink, and we head into this braking zone here. Through there we go. And we are still down. We've lost a little bit of time here, so we're still losing time on the intersection. So this is telling me I must absolutely nail the bus stop chicane, or the other corner that I said is very important. Notice here, we're a 10th down on the exit. Okay, we're a 10th down. So we pull this back. We do pull this back. Right, we're going to head towards this corner here. Remember I said this corner is most important, or one of the most important corners. We do gain some time there. Around half a tenth, I'd say. Although it's being pulled back by Sutsu there as we continue on through. So Sutsu's carried more speed on the exit. So, I mean, we're 2 tenths down. Every single corner so far, we are down. So I'm very interested to see what happens at the bus stop chicane right now. I've got another 2 tenths in my lap. I have another 2 tenths in my lap. Right, we're going to get to the bus stop chicane now. We hit the brakes. We're going to go through here. Oh, my word. So remember where I said the bus stop chicane is one of the most important corners on the circuit? There you have it. Nailed just one corner. I haven't nailed any of the other corners. Sushi's done them better on every single one. But I nailed that one important corner. Here we go. I'm 2 tenths down at this moment in time. We get to this point here. So speed, we're similar. We're still similar. Sutsu brakes. I do not brake in the middle of this chicane. So that's where I'm going to pull back some speed. I mean, look at this. I am nearly 4 miles an hour difference there. And as we get to the exit, I'm still 3 miles an hour. So I'm carrying that 3 miles an hour all the way through this corner. Now, it's going to start getting closer. Remember, we hit that wall of air, and it does get closer. But I've carried that much speed through there that by the time I get to the end, I'm ahead of Sutsu. So critically in this lap, and I did talk about importance of corners, it is vital you get the importance of corners right. We don't say the bus stop chicane, the most important. I gain all my time back just in that one corner. So maybe focus there first. Then what I would do is focus on the corner coming onto the oval. That's another place where you can gain a lot of time. As we see, Sutsu does benefit from the exit there and does gain a significant amount of time. Another place to focus. Then I'd focus on all the other sections here as I drop my mouse. So, going back to this, sorry about that, I dropped my mouse, which made an absolute racket and a half. So, focus on the 2 important corners, in my opinion, to start off your lap, to really get those times down. And it's the bus stop chicane and the corner going onto the oval. That's going to be it for Daily Race A. Daily Race B, then. We're going to head to Catalunya, and we're doing my favourite layout there, the no chicane layout. And we are in Group 3. So, this one should be a good one. So here we are on the start-finish straight. I'm using +3 brake balance in this one. Now, there was a very big difference between +5 and +3 brake balance that I tried today. You may also notice the wind direction is slightly stronger. That's because this particular lap was done in September, but it's the same balance of performance, so this is what we're using. So we head towards turn 1. We've got the building on the right-hand side. That is the good brake marker. However, what I use is the flag indicator on the left. You can see that there, the black square, okay? This is a flag indicator. Really good brake marker. You can use this in a car as well. Basically, as it hits the left-hand side of your screen, you're going to hit the brakes. You're going to follow this curb all the way down. Don't go on the slippy side. Just stay on the red and white curb in here, and you're going to brake all the way down to 2nd gear in the BMW Endurance model. So we'll look at this now. Drop 2nd gear. We start to release the brakes. We turn in. We're going to clip the curb. We're going to accelerate a little bit, and then as we turn left, we're going to then short shift to 3rd gear. You're going to want to short shift to 3rd gear in a lot of cars, or at least short shift in a lot of cars, just to create some stability. We're going to turn into the right-hander now, and then we lift off. We're just going to try and maintain some speed, but what we want to do is clip the curb on the inside. We then have that orange painted barrier very much in the distance, okay, and it's just appeared on screen. Now, as that heads towards the center of your screen, that's when you want to start accelerating 100%. Now, depending on how aggressive you want to be, if you're struggling here with understeer or whatever it may be in terms of cars, that is your marker to accelerate. So I'm going to be aggressive here. I see the orange painted barrier. I start accelerating. I did that on this lap. I did it today on the laps as well. And in Delta, we are going to be comparing this lap versus today's lap and see where the differences lie. I'm going to continue on through. And a little bit of oversteer there. That will happen when you clip the curb. It's just one of those things where the curb grips. The car just unsettles a little bit, get a bit of oversteer, but it's very easily catchable, as you saw right there. We continue towards the end of Sector 1, and what we're looking for next as we go into Sector 2 is on the left-hand side. So we have this bridge across the circuit. The very edge of that bridge on the left-hand side is your brake marker for this right-hander. Now, what you want to do here is you want to turn towards the corner a little bit and then go on the brake. So effectively, you are braking diagonally, okay? You're braking diagonally. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to do that, and then as I get towards the corner, I'm then going to release the brakes, and releasing the brakes allows the car to then turn. Remember, if you're braking 100%, your car can't really turn. Brake 50%, your car can turn 50%. That's at least the idea in your mind that you need to have. So notice that I'm trail braking now, the car wants to turn. Now, I'm going to point out another accelerating marker now. So on this left-hand side, you see this orange painted barrier. It's been on the screen for a while. It's gone past the center, and now it's, what's that? The first quarter of the screen on the left-hand side there. So as it's got to that point, that's when I'm going to start to accelerate. Now, you may want to accelerate earlier than this, when it's in the center of your screen. This is a marker. This is the idea behind these markers. You pick them out and you go, okay, that's my consistent marker every single lap. I'm going to start accelerating at this moment. And I'll show you on chase cam because this is the chase cam variation. So I'm going to start accelerating. I'm not necessarily 100%. Let's say I'm about, what, 80%? And then I'm going to start accelerating and may come off throttle again if I struggle with a bit of oversteer. Very much possible in some cars, especially front-engine rear-wheel drive cars like this BMW M6. But this time, I didn't have that much of an issue. So we head towards this left-hander. Now, this building on the right side is your brake marker. The corner of it is what I use. Now, you've got two ways to do this corner. You can aim directly towards the corner, so you're aiming for the very inside line, the tightest line possible to get around this corner. Alternatively, you can head for sort of middle of the road, and this is one I would advise to do because it just gives you a safer exit on the corner because it's very easy to oversteer if you're overturning the car. Whereas if you just go that little bit wider, it reduces the angle and therefore you might actually benefit on the exit. So watch what I do here. I'm hard on the brakes right now. I dropped first gear. I was in the middle of the road. We've still not hit the inside of the corner yet. We're going to short shift to second gear just for some stability. We can then straighten up there. Notice how I straighten up straight away and I use all of the curb, making sure my wheels stay on that red and white curb. That's what you need to do right there. We're going to head over towards the right-hand side of the circuit then, never touching the left-hand side, and we're preparing ourselves for this chicane, which is a very unique chicane because it's sort of cambered, but then it goes uphill. You got sausage in there. It's got all sorts in here, so let me explain how to do it. This curb on the right side, notice how it starts to open up. That is your brake marker. Try not to go on it for this one because it's very easy to clip the grass on the right hand side and then spin out. You don't need to be on the curb, so just putting that out there right now. Just make sure you use this as a brake marker. So it's very obvious. You're going to follow this curb all the way down. You're going to follow the track all the way down the right hand side. Don't turn in too early for this one. When you drop to second gear, you're going to then start to try and turn in. You only want to clip the curb on the inside, okay? Notice how I start to turn in. I release the brakes, clip the curb. I then short shift to third gear. Highly advise you short shift here as well. Then straighten up as best as you can. As long as you stay on the red and white curbing, you're absolutely fine. And the sausage, as you see, not impactful on the BMW. Some cars, it is impactful though, so just be careful. We continue on up the hill, and it's one, because it is uphill, you do need to get right in terms of time loss. So we get to this point here, the end of the curb on that left-hand side. You can use the orange painted barrier if you want, but I never use it because the curb is very obvious here. This is either a turning marker and a lift-off marker, or a dab the brakes and turning marker. Depends on the car. In this situation, on this particular lap, I'm going to dab the brakes and chuck the car in. I need to make sure I hit the curb on the inside, so you need to do this as well, okay? Curbs are very grippy here at Catalunya. You touch them, the car will grip, and you can get around the corner. That's what I'm going to do. So I dab the brakes there, and then I'm letting the car roll. And then I just get to the curb now. I can accelerate through, knowing full well the car's just going to rotate round. And as long as I stay on the red and white curb on the exit, we make it. If you do go over the red and white curbing, unfortunately, you'll get a track limit penalty. And as the slowdown line is right there, you are going to have to either restart or just take a full lap of a penalty. So we're going to get to this point here where there are two brake markers. We have the Portaloo on the left, and we have the flag indicator on the right. Okay, so in this situation, I use the flag indicator. You may want to use the Portaloo. It depends on the car you are using. So as the flag indicator hits the edge of my screen, I'm going to hit the brakes. And I'm going to drop down to first gear. Once again, I want to brake 100% in a straight line. I'm trying to slow the car down as much as possible for this hairpin. So only when I get to first gear do I start to release the brakes, okay? Watch what I do as I go towards this corner. I'm going to hit the brakes, follow it down. You can see the racing line right there. And as we get to first gear, so on the brakes, on the brakes, on the brakes, on the brakes, we did a little bit, nothing major. We start to release the brakes, the car wants to turn. We then clip the curb. Now I want to straighten up as quick as I can on the exit. I need all the weight to just settle down on the rear and just go. No weight transfer there at all. We go to second gear. We're going to go over towards the left-hand side. We do a big cut here, staying inside the circuit in terms of track limits. Then we get to this point here. Now, this isn't a brake marker I use. I never use this brake marker, but I always point it out for those that want one because we're all about consistency here. If you have consistency, you have markers everywhere. You can therefore improve because you can brake 5 meters later on one particular corner, knowing full well where you're braking at already. So there's the marker if you want to use it on the left-hand side there, that orange painted barrier. Now, what I want you to do here is trail brake. This is a trail braking corner. I love this corner. Really suits my driving style. So I just want you to be on the brakes, bleeding off that speed nice and slowly, okay? And look how I just stay on the brakes for so long. I then release it, I let the car roll a little bit. Now, we're going to point out 2 more accelerating markers. So we've been using orange painted barriers. There's one right there, center of the screen. Happy days, I can start to accelerate. Not necessarily 100% because you just need to make sure you get round. It does depend on the car. Now, I've also highlighted here sausages on the right side, the red and white sausages. They're on the inside of all corners here at Catalunya. They are accelerating markers. They are effectively the apex here at the circuit. So you get anywhere near those, and they're on the right side of your screen, the left side, depending on the corner, you start to accelerate. When your car is in line with those, accelerate. And that's what I'm doing right now. Notice there it wasn't 100% straight away. I've actually gone 100, then down to 90, then back to 100. That's for stability reasons. Very easy to lose a car at that moment on that corner. we get to this point here. Now, this corner is so good because you can actually cut quite a lot of this and people don't realize. So we've got this line, 2 black marks there that go into the red and white curbing. You need to follow those lines as you turn in. Now, you may want to lift off a little bit here just to get the car initially turned, entirely your choice. And it also depends on the car as well, especially with the front ends lifting. But you're going to turn in. Your inside wheels are going to be on the slippy stuff on the inside. Your left-hand wheels, they're going to be on the red and white curb on the left-hand side. So effectively, you're cutting the inside, but making sure you still stay within track limits. Watch what I do right now. I turn in, I lift a tiny bit. I'm going up to 4th gear, I'll lift a little bit more. Notice how much I cut there. Still within track limits. We're going to continue on now. What we're going to do now is straddle this sausage right here. Now, we have a pit lane sign on that right-hand side. So the wed? It's not wed. It's a white square on that right-hand side. When I hit the edge of my screen, that's when I hit the brakes. What I tend to do here is I hit the brakes, chuck the car in, and drop to 3rd gear. All at the same time, basically. What that does is it promotes weight transfer, so the car will jolt to the inside. And that's what I actually want. I need the car to clip the curb on the inside. And if the weight transitions like that, I can actually accelerate through the corner because I'll suffer less understeer. And that's what I'm trying to do here. It's better if you do turn just after the sausage as well. So as long as the left wheels don't touch the sausage, you should be fine. Notice that I click the curb on the inside, then I can go. You can use that pit wall as a bit of an accelerating marker if you so wish. Again, stay within or on the red and white curbs and you'll be absolutely fine. So this is a 40.3. I mean, earlier today I got a 0.5, so you can see it's exactly the same in terms of that. Exact same car, exact same scenario. Plus 3 brake balance then. I did talk about it earlier. Remember, we're looking for the flag indicator on the left-hand side here. There it is. We hit the brakes. We're going to drop down to 2nd gear now. Release the brakes, turn in, clip the curb, accelerate a little bit. We're going to short shift to 3rd as we go over here. Lift off as well. Continue on through. Head over towards the right-hand side. Lift. Let the car just roll. There's the orange painted barrier. We clip the curb here. We start to accelerate. We caught the oversteer. So that wasn't too bad at all. We continue on through. Remember, at the edge of the bridge on the left-hand side, we're going to hit the brakes, turn towards the corner a little bit, start to release the brakes, let the car turn in. Orange painted barrier, we can start to accelerate. Just be careful as you accelerate through here, up to 3rd gear, and over towards the right-hand side. Looking for that building again. We're going to hit the brakes. 1st gear for this one. Remember, not straight away into the corner, later apex. Short shift to 2nd, use all the curb on the exit, continue on through. Head over towards the right-hand side. Start of the curb on the right is our brake marker. We're going to hit brakes, follow that curb all the way down, 2nd gear, release it, clip the curb, up to 3rd gear, straight line this part here, staying on the red and white curbs. Up here, end of the curb. We're going to dab the brakes, shut the car in, 3rd gear, let the car roll a little bit, clip the curb, now accelerate through the corner. Be careful of understeering on the exit there. You saw me lift a little bit. Head over towards the right side, looking for the flag indicator on the right side again, but it's just the pole this time. We hit the brakes, drop down to 1st gear, start to release the brakes, turn in, straighten up the car on the exit. That allows you to get some grip. Then up to 2nd gear, cut the inside here, then trail brake all the way through this corner. Just let the car roll now. There's the orange painted barrier. We start to accelerate. Just manage the car as you go through here. Continue on. We've got the lines as the inset the curb here. We turn in, lift off a little bit if you're going to understeer off. Continue on through. Pit lane sign there on the right side is our final brake marker. Hit the curb on the inside. Continue towards the line. What we're going to do now is compare this lap with today's lap, and we'll see where we need to improve today on Delta. So we are here in Delta, and we are comparing like for like. So it's my lap from the 22nd of September with the lap today that I did. So it's the 0.5 I did today, for those wondering, and it was a 0.3 back in September. The only difference here will be time of day, potentially, and wind. And the idea behind comparing your lap from a previous session to now is to see, if you went faster previously, where are you going wrong now? Where are you going wrong? And that's what I want to do here. Now, obviously, Delta's had a few updates since then, but we can still compare and see where those time differences are. So let's do that. Let's head straight into this lap then. So we head down here, and it looks like we're losing a little bit of time already, because as we get down here, in terms of speed, I'm a little bit faster on the reference lap. And let me tell you why. The wind speed is 0.9 in terms of strength, stronger on my old lap than it is now. So you can see how a tailwind makes a difference. Let's continue on through here then, through the right, left, and then into the right we go. And we get to this point here, and what are we down here? So we're roughly about 2 temps down at this moment in time. So definitely some improvement there to be made in Sector 1. So we're going to go through here, the right-hander, and we've benefited a lot there. So we've done this lap really nicely here. As we go through here, we must be carrying much more speed. We are. And it does start to level out a little bit. So we just carry more speed through here. So we actually did the lap better today in that little corner there than previous. So we're going to head down towards our left-hander now. We go through there. And it looks like it's about the same. You see the time just juggling a little bit? That's because it's an old version of Delta, but it's still got all the data in there. Obviously, it analyzes more data now than it ever has done. So we're going to head down here then. And we are carrying more speed here. So it's looking okay for now. But we go through there and we do this worse today. So that's where I need to improve. I can definitely see that today, that I need to improve on that chicane. That's the one where you can cut a lot of the inside. Now, you'll remember on the reference lap or the guide that I just did, I cut that a lot. Now, today, I bet you I didn't cut it as much. Can we zoom in a little bit here? And let's see. So at this point here, we're just carrying so much more speed on the reference lap. So that's an issue there in itself. So it's not the line, it's just carrying the speed. I turned it a little bit earlier, but I carry far more speed there. So that's really interesting to see. So that's where I do need to carry more speed and gain some time there. Good to know. So that's where I need to improve if I jump back on. We go through here then. So we're about a 10th down then as we head into the final sector. So we're going to hit the brakes there. We leave the corner. We're getting a little bit, I'd say, as we've gone through that corner. I'm seeing a huge amount of difference there as we go into the fast right-hander, the one with the trail braking. Again, we don't lose that much there. We go through the fast right-hander. We do lose some time here. So look at some of the speed. Yeah, look, we've lost a mile an hour there. So we need to do that a little bit quicker today. I did do it very well on that lap guide, if I do say so myself. That'll be big-headed there. And then the final corner here. We're about 10th and a half down, and that goes towards 2 tenths. So yeah, the final sector is where I really do need to improve. In fact, if you look at this, nearly 5 miles an hour difference. That is substantial, to be honest with you. That is very substantial. And if we look and zoom in here at the line, I just take it slightly more inside. Now, you haven't seen today's lap. So obviously, I'm looking at that and I go, okay, well, there, I need to improve. The last corner, we need to improve on the previous corner to that as well. There's a few corners here. The chicane as well is somewhere to improve. And that's the use of Delta. I literally compared 2 laps, different times, same car, same track, and I can see where I can improve. And know full well I can improve because it's my lap. It's my lap. Now that's it for Daily Race B then in terms of Catalonia. We're going to jump to Daily Race C now to a track we've only used once before. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Now we're in Group 4 machinery, and I wonder what I chose for this one because it's not what you think. So, I'm in the Alfa Romeo 155, a car I don't use very often. I'm using +5 brake balance here as we go through the start-finish line and head towards turn number 1. So, on the right side, we've got the 100 board and the orange painted barrier. Now, I found braking earlier for this corner was better, and the reason for that is you want to prepare the second corner coming up, not attack this first corner. So, I want you to brake at the 100 board here, not the orange painted barrier. Some people use that, don't. Use the 100 board on this right-hand side. What I want you to do is drop down to second gear and make sure you cut all of the inside curve, okay? You need to cut as much as you can on the inside. What will also happen when you cut the inside is the car will rotate a little bit, which will get you even more prepared for the right-hander. So notice it, we lift off the brakes, we turn in, we use all of the curve on the inside, we accelerate a little bit here, and notice how much more left we are from not attacking this corner. Now, you see the curve on the right side, you want to be braking before you get to that point. And what this allows us to do on this line of attack is we can carry a bit more speed and rotate the car that bit better. If you imagine the car was on the right-hand side, we'd have to really rotate the car around and really delay the throttle before we can get out this corner. This time, we're in the middle of the track here as we go into this, so it allows us to actually straighten up the car on the exit a bit earlier. We can accelerate out the corner a bit quicker. It's just overall better. Now, as we go into this, you want to get as much rotation as you can. You may want to drop to first gear. I stay in second here. Notice that as I pass that white line as it crosses the track, that's when I accelerate out of this corner. And that's how you do that section there. It's all about attacking the second corner and really going slow on the first corner, just preparing for that corner. We're going to head over towards the left-hand side now. Now, critically for this corner, I would stay in third gear. I found going to fourth gear just meant it became inconsistent. And we've talked about that already in the guide in other circuits, especially at Daytona. Just staying in gear is actually beneficial. So we've got the orange marshal post here, and we have the board up ahead. We want to brake in the middle of that. Arguably, it's where the lamppost is in the middle, but it's very hard to see as you're racing that lamppost. Obviously, we've slowed this video down, so it becomes a bit easier to see, but as you race, it's actually quite difficult. So what you need to do is just look at the orange marshal post here and just brake just after it. Okay, and you're going to stay in third gear. And what I want you to do is cut a lot of the inside of this first part, which will then allow you to attack the second part. So what happens is we accelerate, then we're going to go towards the left-hand side. You may want to lift a little bit, but you need to stay 2 wheels on the red and white curb. And notice there how we could go through there nice and easy. If you turn remotely late for that corner and don't actually use a little bit of track limits there, you're going to understeer into the barrier. And that's the common theme here, the barrier. So we've turned in, got very close to the wall on the right-hand side, and we accelerate to this point here. So we've got the 100 board, and then we have the marshal post just in the distance. You can just see the orange. But because it's orange, you can actually see it. So that's what you're aiming for, okay? Now, I found braking later here attacking the braking zone here was beneficial. And the reason for that is that otherwise you turn in too early and you compromise the right-hander here of the chicane. So it's better to brake late, be aggressive on the brakes, drop it down to second gear, try and maintain 50 miles an hour as well as you go through this corner, and you should be able to get through this corner a-okay. So that's what I'm doing right now. So we're going to drop down to second gear. We release the brakes now. Notice here the speed. Notice how we can use all of the curb then. We accelerate through here. We're going to head over towards the right-hand side now. Stay in second gear for a bit longer than normal because you're wanting to get a bit of oversteer there from the second gear rotation. Now you do short shift this car a little bit, 11,500 RPM, so roughly where the 4 and the 2 is, that you can see right now. So short shift this car for maximum power and maximum gains. So we're going to continue now towards the next chicane. It is all chicanes here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And what we're looking for here is the 100 board, or alternatively, the shadow of the bridge that you can see there. Okay. Now this corner, very tricky, very easy to get track limit penalties. Most of my laps were invalidated at this one, and obviously the final chicane as well. What I'd advise for this is to actually overslow the car for the first part of this chicane. I found in the end I was just attacking it way too hard because you have the opportunity. Well, there's no wall on the left-hand side, so you really attack the first part to try and get through the second part, but that meant getting penalties every single time because you'd either cut the first one or the second one. So overslow the car here. Notice I'm on the brakes here. I'm really trying to slow the car down. I then start to release the brakes. I turn in. I'm going to clip the sausage, but because I'm not going as quick, the car remains balanced. Notice to stay on the red and white curb in there. I can continue on through. Very critical you slow the car down for that one, in my opinion. One to focus on there. And when we look at Delta after, we'll see how other people have done it as well. I'm going to head towards the hairpin now. The hairpin, I would argue, probably one of the easier corners to do on this circuit, but it's still not easy in the grand scheme of corners. It's just one of the easier ones to look forward to on this circuit because it doesn't have a sausage either. So we've got 2 brake markers here. I wasn't using the 100 board, but I've highlighted it because I know some people will prefer that over my marker that I'm using on the right-hand side. Now, at the time, I was thinking it's a forklift truck. I have no idea what it is on the right side. All I know is it's very prominent, very obvious, and as it hits the edge of my screen, I hit the brakes. As you can see here, hit the edge of the screen. I'm just about to hit the brakes right now. I've just got a little bit on it there. You can see it here with just a frame difference in terms of chase cam. That's what I'm using. In fact, on chase cam, you've just got a little bit of is it a billboard there or something on the inside? You could use that as well, so perfect. Now, what you want to do here is a late apex. So notice here I stay towards the left-hand side for a bit longer. Right? I'm in first gear now. I then get the car to turn. I accelerate. The car's going to oversteer a little bit. I come off the throttle, let the car settle. Then I go on throttle again. Literally identical to Daily Race A in the Mazda 12R there. I did the same at the hairpin to the right. Exact same situation here. Hairpin again. And it works wonders. It's just about getting the rotation and getting out of the corner. I'm going to head towards the final chicane now, which is an absolute pain in the backside. You know, when you've done a good lap and you get to this point here, you're just going to be like, oh no, I've got one more to go. And these sausages are dangerous. So we get to this point here. We've got the building on the left-hand side. Really good brake marker. Very obvious, very clear. If you're on the right-hand side of the circuit, you can see it as well. Very, very good brake marker, this one, that building on the left-hand side. So use that as your brake marker. I'm braking just before it, that you can see right now. One of the reasons I'm braking a tiny bit earlier than I really should here is because I've tried to just make sure I get through the chicane. I'm on a good lap here. I'm just like, let's just get it done now at this moment in time. I've done a lot of miles, but it's because I was just messing up the chicanes each and every time. Tiredness does do that to you. So we hit the brakes here. What I want you to do is I want you to more focus on this first point here. So notice how I turn in, and then I'm going to straighten up as I hit that sausage. I avoid the second sausage there. There seems to be more penalties on the left-hand part of that chicane than there is on the right. So if you turn in, straighten up as you hit the first sausage, you can then get around the second part. That's my advice for that last chicane, and that's when I started getting consistent, as you can see on the right-hand side. If you go to turn 1 now, the 100 board is our brake marker here. Second gear, remember, use all the curb on the inside. Accelerate a little bit, hit the brakes. Make sure you keep it nice and tight. White line, start to accelerate as you go through this corner. Continue on out. Excellent. We're going to look for now the orange Marshall post, remember. We're looking for the orange Marshall post. We're braking just after it. There it is. We're going to hit the brakes. Third gear, stay in third gear, turn in. Accelerate a little bit, over towards the left, cut a little bit of the inside. Let's say we can use the curve on the exit. Continue on through. Turn in a little bit early for this wall. Earlier than you think, actually. Keep it nice and tight. Over towards the right side. There's a 100 board. There's the orange Marshall post. Remember, be aggressive for this corner. Then release the brakes, turn in, stay at 50 miles out, accelerate through, stay in second gear as you clip the curb on the right side, continue on through. Understeer does happen there. Notice a slight lift that I did there. If you stay in second gear a bit longer, you will not suffer that understeer because it will continue to rotate, similar to what we did at first gear at the hairpin that is coming up. 100 for this one then. Remember, overslow for this one, just get it right. Try not to get a penalty because it's so easy to get a penalty for that one, and then accelerate through the corner as we head towards the hairpin. I'll say, for this hairpin, I did first gear just to get that rotation as well, but first of all, we're looking for what I considered the forklift truck on the right side as we hit the brakes there. First gear, so late apex here, accelerate, lift, and then accelerate again just to try and keep the car nice and stable as we continue on out of that hairpin, and we're going to head towards the final corner. Such a long straight, this one. As we get to the building on the left side, we're going to hit the brakes. Remember, slow the car down. Look for the sausage, straighten up, then continue on through. Avoiding the second sausage on the left is probably the best way to do this. Once again, that's a 43.6. Plenty of time in this lap. So let's find out where we can improve on that time by using Delta. But for this final Delta session, then, I've loaded rank 1 in the world's lap here, VQS_Lewis. What a lap this is. I've just watched it myself to record this. That's what you could do in Delta as well, which is amazing. And it's an unbelievable lap. And I can also see some things Lewis is doing that I need to do as well, and hopefully we will see that in Delta and we can see the improvements. So let's jump straight into this one then, because I need to know where I need to improve here, because I'm a bit off the pace being 7 attempts down. I really do need to improve. So we're going to head towards turn 1. Obviously we're identical here as we go into turn 1. We go onto the brakes right now, and look at this. Already going into here, I mean, I've gone a bit slower, but I've taken a slightly shallower line. So let's actually look at this on the exit of the corner, because I said it in the guide as well. The first one I wouldn't really attack, it's the second one. So as we go through here, I'm a 10th down. So I need to improve there straight off the bat. So what's interesting here is at this moment I'm a 10th down. I go to 2 tenths down. And notice I'm carrying more speed. So I would argue I am right to do that. But then Lewis somehow manages to just get a better turn in from that. Now, I'm pretty sure here, if we have a look in a bit more detail, Lewis goes to first gear to get the rotation. You can just see it there with the cog as we accelerate through. So that first gear acceleration then just allows Lewis to rotate. And then you can see actually on the map here as well, on the track map, look at that. It's just got a much better inside line. You can straighten up the car a bit more and accelerate out the corner. So Lewis is benefiting there from a downshift. So that's something I need to look at. We're going to head towards the next corner then. Now, Lewis does go to 4th gear here. So let's have a look at the difference here. So at 3rd gear at that moment, so we're 113. And as we get to this moment in time, he gains, what's that, 300ths of a second. But let's see if that benefits through. It does. Lewis does actually do this better as well. So by the time we get to this point here, we're nearly 2 temps down. So this is what I would do in this situation. If I was you, and this is what I'm going to do if I'm going to jump back on. Because I'm so far down in this first sector alone, arguably even the first corner, I would keep doing this and then restarting if I then get a penalty later on, and just keep doing laps. I would focus on this bit. I'd get my sectors down. I'd focus on the first gear change there to get the car rotated, and then I'd continue on, because I'm clearly losing a lot of time just in this sector alone. Let's continue on though. So we've got 2 temps down as we get to this moment here. We're on the brakes a bit earlier than Lewis here, so we've dropped a bit more speed as we go through here, and we've lost another half a tenth there going through there. And as we get to the exit there, it's about a similar speed. So where do we lose it here? Lewis. I think Lewis is just carrying a bit more speed. No, it's about the same. Let's have a gander. It's just a bit quicker. Just a bit quicker, that all that is. So that's somewhere where I can improve. I don't think that's an area where I need to focus on personally. But it might be an area where you need to focus on. Now, this is obviously the corner I dreaded every single time, this chicane. So I'm braking early here because I said I need to overslow the car. Lewis has got to 2nd gear here, which is interesting. So we're 2.5 temps down as we go through here. Wow. 2 tenths of a second lost in that alone. And that's all due to confidence. So as we get to this point here, as we go through there, look at that. Look at the speed difference. 3 miles an hour. It's going to drop down slowly as we hit the wall of air, of course. So it's still 2 miles an hour difference on the exit. I lose so much time there. So much time. And we're seeing this throughout this lap. So the first sector, I'm losing time. 2 temps where I need to focus on. 1 chicane alone there, 2 temps. But I would still focus on the first sector only because it's an easy restart and you keep trying it. Once I get used to that, and then I'm not losing 2 temps, maybe half a temp for a tenth, I then focus on that chicane right there because I definitely need to improve that. So we're basically 4.5 temps down as we approach the hairpin here. We're going to go on the brakes right now. And we lose another 2 temps in the hairpin here. So what is Lewis doing differently to us? So we're hitting the brakes. Arguably, we're stopping about the same amount here as we go into this corner. Lewis takes a slightly tighter line here. I go for the wider line. And then, so as we get to this point here, Lewis just gets more rotation. That's very interesting indeed. We're dropping the gears at the same time. I've short shifted. Does that help me? No, it hasn't helped me there at all. But I assume that's because I lifted more than Lewis. That's where I lost the speed, not the short shift. So I lost another 2 tenths there. So lots of time in this lap. Do I lose time in the last chicane? That is the question. So we're approaching 7 tenths down. Yes, we lose half a tenth there. So every single area we lose time in. But, and I said it at the very start of this Delta run, I need to focus on this section here and just do this and keep repeating this. That's what I would do in this scenario. Maybe I'll try it later on in the week. Maybe I'll film this and show you the improvements, because I'm not happy being 7 tenths down. Let's put it that way. I definitely can improve there. And then once I've done that, I'll then focus on this chicane here and the hairpin here. They're my key areas of focus. And arguably, that's what you should do as well. Pick out one section you're really losing time out here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, because everyone's losing lots of time here due to those sausages. Really just focus on that one area, and that's a way to improve and get yourself up that leaderboard, because when you improve on one area, arguably it does help on the rest of the lap. That's going to be it for this guide. I do hope it has helped you, and also the Delta data as well. We've done various things with Delta this week. I've been Martin Grady, otherwise known as Tijani, and I'm here with Coach Dave Academy and the Gran Turismo team to bring you the weekly race guides every single week. If you have enjoyed it, as always, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and leave any comments down below as well. And we'll be sure to answer them. Once again, a massive thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week for some more daily races and some more guides to help you get up that leaderboard and improve your DR.